Hello, I'm Paul Pluta, and today I'm on the Paul Pluta channel doing paid reviews because I don't do shit for free, fuckers. I charge because how else am I going to survive? And you can request paid reviews, $20 US. Look at the description of this video. Description, fuckers. Send the cash, send the question, I'll make a review. And I've got one in here. This is from Patrick. He goes, video request, Black Bay ETA versus in-house. Ooh, this is such an interesting question. Because what's happened is TUDOR, how would you put it, the cheaper, the more budget, the more trendy brand of Rolex has released some great watches in recent times, and now they're getting even better by having in-house movements, because TUDOR used to use ETA. And it's really quite interesting. Which one do you go for? And I gotta tell you, there's been a lot of negativity to people who use ETA movements. People criticize Tag Heuer, ETA, shitters, fuckers. They criticize IWC models that use an ETA-based movement. And I can understand the problem. I can understand it, fuckers, but what do you do? What do you do? That is the question. And I gotta tell you, fuckers, I gotta tell you, I don't think it makes terribly much difference, ETA or in-house. Let me explain. Because let's look at it. Let's have a look at, say, the Rolex Daytonas. See, they used to use a Valjoux. The plastic Daytonas, they used a Valjoux 727. Valjoux movement, fuckers, ETA. And then Rolex started using a Zenith movement. That's when the Sapphire Daytonas came out. Then they moved, that was the automatic, was the Zenith. Then they went in-house. So, you know, you've got to look at this and say, well, which is the better piece? And the reality is, if Rolex thought a Valjoux 727 was fine to use in their Daytona years ago, it really can't be that bad. And the same can be said for TUDOR. TUDOR was always the cheaper brand. Yes, that's true. And, you know, originally TUDOR used to fill the void. If they changed from plastic to sapphire, they'd use up the old bits in the TUDORs. And that's changed a lot. TUDOR now is more of a dynamic arm of Rolex. They do trendy things. They do a lot of trendy sort of shit, and that's got some really good growth in it there, and I really love it. I love the way TUDOR is going there. It's a very interesting thing. TUDOR itself. What do I think? What do I think of in-house, or do you go for the Valjoux? Do you go for the ETA movement? Probably for the collectible, believe it or not, the ETA one's probably going to be more valuable because it's out of production, shorter production span. They want the model that no one can get. And it's funny because you look at Rolexes over years, the Milgauss was a dog. They didn't know, it didn't sell well, but when it, years later, become highly collectible. And the same can be said for a lot of the really, really valuable Patek Philippe's. They are not using a Patek movement. They're using a Novo, New, Lemania type movement. The perpetual calendar, chronograph, they're a Lemania-based movement. So you got to look at these things and say, well, what is the better one to get? And I got to tell you the truth. In-house or ETA, I don't think it's really going to make that difference. Collectible wise, maybe the ETA may be a smidgen more collectible, but stop. These modern watches, there's too many of them in the world to be really, really, really valuable classics. I would say it really doesn't make much difference. Tudor is a great brand. I love what's happened to Tudor. Tudor used to be a brand where they got rid of all the old bits. Tudor's completely changed. They've done revolutionary things like the Monte Carlo. That is so fucking sexy, so cool, so chic. And I wish I fucking had my Monte Carlo still. Look at the Black Bay. It's a Submariner without the crown. It's just so fucking sexy. I wish Rolex would do that for their Submariner. Bring out a no crowns guard limited edition. But Rolex can't do that because they just can't. They're too conservative and staid. Whereas Tudor can. And I love some of the Tudors that have come out in recent times. They're really fucking cool. So the question is, do you go for in-house or do you go for the ETA movement? And I think, at the end of the day, they're both good Swiss movements. Which one is better? Collectible-wise, probably the ETA, now that they're stopping making them, is probably a little bit better. As far as the movement goes, probably the in-house movement is, uses Rolex-type chicness to it. And the thing is, people are saying, well, which one's easier to service, yada, yada, yada. Well, the reality is, you're probably, these watchmakers, they're all trying to hone in on the service industry. That's a cash cow for them. So even if you had a fault with your Black Bay, are you going to send it to a generic repairer who's going to put generic parts in when it really needs a Tudor version of something? So my honest gut feel is, they've got you over a barrel. These Swiss are really nasty fuckers at times. They've got you over this barrel. Which way would I go? I don't think it matters. The Tudors are super cool. The ETA ones, I think, are going to have a place. The in-house ones, well, that's cool. Collectible, as I said, probably the ETA ones are probably going to be more collectible because they're not making them anymore. But Tudor itself as a brand, love it. Absolutely love it. That is a good brand. Tudor is a cool brand. 100% love Tudors. And I'd love to get a Tudor. What would I get myself? Fuck. Ooh, probably. I love the Monte Carlo. That was so fucking just, that orange, just, ugh. But possibly a Black Bay. They're so cool. They're just so cool. I'm Paul Pluta on the Paul Pluta channel. Tell me what you fuckers think of that.